Chapter 6. I know now the exact point up to which I was right, and also where I ceased to be right. Molly S. Dale made a clean breast of the whole guileful conspiracy of their courtship afterwards. Here it is, for your edification and warning. Molly had several times been down to visit Philip in his billet at the Helmsea station. There it was that she had first seen Chummy. At first she had not been able to single out Chummy from the rest of the uniformed mob that led such a mysterious existence down there, a world of womanless men, who paraded at all hours of the day and night, suddenly vanished by the half-week together, turned up smiling again, danced with one another to the grinding of gramophones, played cards and snooker, howled round pianos and swapped yarns, Kirchners and pink gins. To Molly their uniforms were of two kinds only, khaki and dark blue. In course of time she had come to pick out Chummy as wearing both khaki, but with the rings and shoulder badges of the other service. The lad made Philip ask him to tea, and the next time, in Philip's absence, Chummy had asked her to tea. And so to the sky blue uniforms and the monochrome of mufti again, by which time Chummy and Molly were firm friends. I believe she threw the youngsters together from the moment Philip first brought Chummy home to Lennox Street. She says she didn't, and refers me to Joan. I wouldn't hang a dog on what Miss Jones says on such a matter. For who can believe in the candor of a young woman of just 20 who, the very first time a young man is brought to the house, straightway enters into a clandestine arrangement to meet him at tea the next day, and presently can hold out her hand with a conventional "Goodbye, Mr. Smith," as if the last thing that entered her head was that she would ever set eyes on him again? It takes the nerve of the modern young woman to do that. The case of Mr. Smith, observe, is entirely different. Mr. Smith, suddenly meeting the lovely young thing, may not be sure whether his feet are treading a polished studio floor or whether they have little mercury wings on them that waft him through the empyrean, but there is this to be said for Mr. Smith, that when he is in love he doesn't behave as if he wasn't. He fidgets even if she goes out of the room for a minute. He doesn't know that she herself couldn't tell him why she has gone out of the room. He thinks she had something to go for, and never dreams that she is just sitting on the edge of her bed, knowing perfectly well that he will be leaving in half an hour, asking herself what made her so suddenly get up and leave him, and yet not even writing him a note. The notes came later, at about the time she put a lock on her letter case. They were numbered 1, 2 and 3 to indicate the sequence in which they should be read. A billet scribbled at 7 o'clock in the evening must on no account be read before one that is dashed off at tea time, and they were constantly on the wing. Nor did these protégés of Molly's choose tea shops that Philip was known to frequent, nor cinemas the kindly gloom of which might by any chance have concealed him. Philip never noticed that his monthly telephone accounts rose perceptibly higher. True, he did ask one evening why the children had been put to bed while it was still broad day, but he was not told that he might find the reason walking hand in hand under the trees in Richmond Park. It is no good asking whether Joan and Chummy were engaged. What is a young woman's engagement nowadays? No doubt Joan's father had in his day ceremoniously waited upon her maternal grandfather-elect, and had had the honor and so on, but Miss Joan always reminded me of the private with the field marshal's baton. She seemed to have come into the world with a will of her own, a latch key and her marriage lines all potentially complete. I remember she called an engagement an understanding. If by that word she meant what the psalmist meant, she certainly made haste with all her heart to get it. Of course, Philip had sooner or later discovered what was going on under his abused roof, and now knew all there was to be known about it. And it must have occurred to him also that, with letters numbered 1, 2 and 3 flying backwards and forwards all the time, any interruption of more than a day or two would set Joan, away in Santon, Yorks, anxiously wondering what was the matter. You are now to see how far I was right in this.